Hello, welcome everyone. Give a couple more minutes for people to trickle in. Hello. If you're joining us, let us know where you're joining us from in the chat. I'm joining from Toronto. Nice. I see Minneapolis, Chicago, Germany, Long Beach. Wow, we got them all over. Awesome.
Ooh, I love Long Beach.
Philippines. Wow. Awesome. Amazing. We'll just give a couple more seconds for some people to trickle in and we'll get started. Condolences about the Jays loss. Yeah, that hit hard. So thank you for saying that. Awesome. All right. So let's get started, everyone. Hi, welcome to AI and CX. We're kicking off our webinar series today. And we're really excited to kind of show how real CX leaders are using AI, some practical use cases. And I'm so excited to introduce Samantha for this first episode of AI and CX, all about turning AI implementation into team alignment. I'm Gabrielle. I work on the content team here at Gorgias. And yeah, Samantha, if you wouldn't mind, do you want to introduce yourself, let us know what you do at Rhoback, and a little bit about Rhoback as a company.
Yeah, totally. So I'm Samantha. I'm coming in from Charlottesville, Virginia, but I used to live in Southern California, so I know Long Beach and all those areas super well. But I am the Associate Director of Customer Experience here at Rhoback. So we've got everything from customer service to really any touch point that's touching the customer and making sure the whole journey aligns. But yeah, Rhoback, we're all about craving activity. And so you'll see a lot of our products are going to be like men's golf polos is our main thing. And then we have a lot of active wear, and a big thing we're driven by it, wear that you can easily go from a workout or something active into like an evening out. So you should be able to transition very easily. We're also known for having insanely soft products, and we're known for our Rhoback logo and our ridge on the back of our products. And so we're inspired by the Rhodesian Ridgeback dog. And so you'll see kind of that sprinkled into all of our products. But super exciting time to be a part of Rhoback too. We have a lot of really amazing women's products coming out this year. We've got a ton of really just exciting stuff going on. So it's been really sweet.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool. So let's get into what we're going to cover today. So we've got 30 minutes packed full of great content coming your way. So we're going to start talking about the AI rollout, what that looked like for Rhoback, and then we're going to move into how you turned implementation into alignment across the organization. And then Samantha will walk us through how she built trust and confidence with AI, both internally and with Rhoback's customers. And then at the end, we'll be sure to leave some time for some Q&A. So if at any point today you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A tab or in the chat here, and we'll be sure to get to them at the end. Awesome. So first off, like I mentioned, we're going to talk all about the idea behind implementation, how you kind of evaluated, prepared, and carried out the AI launch. Before we get into that, we have an audience poll for everyone. So if you head over to the polls tab, let us know where you are at in your AI journey. Are you just exploring? Are you planning? Are you currently rolling out an AI tool, or are you already using one and kind of looking to optimize? So yeah, curious to see where everyone's at right now. So we'll give a couple seconds for everyone to vote. Awesome. Amazing. Okay, so guessing we have some people kind of at every stage, so this should be super interesting. Awesome. Okay, so moving on. Samantha, I'm curious what first sparked the idea to roll out an AI agent at Rhoback?
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, jumping into AI agents was something I was thinking about before joining Rhoback. It's obviously something, especially in the customer service world, a lot of people are talking about. But specifically at Rhoback, a big reason why is we needed for certain scenarios to have something that was going to be quick response. I don't have a customer service team that's available 24/7. The humans on my team have to take breaks and relax. And so there's certain things that we needed to build out to be able to get the AI to help support. And then just like those top 5 types of questions that are really repetitive, like I want my team to be able to focus on the more oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Any of the tickets where I want them to be able to spend the time. I used to always say with phones, I don't want to have phones until I can have a team that can be on a 45-minute phone call if they need to. And so implementing AI gives my team the opportunity to spend a lot more time with the customers they are helping. And it helps kind of automate those go-to things like return requests and where's my order and things of that nature. So that was a big thing we were looking into. And obviously, as you look into expanding a customer service team and forecasting what they can and can't handle, implementing AI is a huge part of navigating that as well.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I love that piece you talked about giving your team time back to handle, those moments that matter and the real empathetic answers. So totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next, I'm curious, how did you evaluate whether your CX team or Roback as a company was ready for AI, and what did that look like?
It's so funny because I don't know so much if we were ready or we were just going to jump into it anyways.
There you go.
I think ultimately it was something that our company was attracted to. They were attracted to the idea of having an AI come in and automate. So my job was to be like, great, we want to do this. What do I need to figure out to clean up to make it happen? So it was for us, we did it really quickly. It was before BFCM last year. I think I did all the implementation within 2 weeks. And fortunately for me, the company I was at before, I also worked a lot in AI. So I did have an idea of all the little check boxes I needed to hit to get the AI going and successful enough to be live during our BFCM season. But that was kind of the main point. I know the company as a whole is very interested in AI. We're attracted to it, seeing where it can help not only in customer service, but in all the other departments. So if I can build out a successful AI in customer service, this is something we can start implementing in so many other areas. So not sure how much I could say we were ready, but we just did it anyways.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, whatever works. That sounds like it's a very common experience kind of across the board with some customers. So
Yeah.
totally relate. And then kind of like, I know you touched on, you had that checklist that you walked through. Can you walk us through what your rollout timeline looked like? And I know you said 2 weeks, but what were some of the different phases that you went through?
Yeah, so fortunately, like I can say the actual timeline was a bit longer because I joined the company August of last year. And so I was actually going through all the processes, all the training material, all the FAQ for the customer service team anyways. So that's like the first thing I want to do is go through all of our data, all of our policies. What are our expectations for regular agents to where I know how to program that into the AI? So I was just doing a full audit of our company as a whole. What are the main questions customers are asking us? What are the main things they want a human touch on? What are the main things they're just looking for an answer? There's actually scenarios where the customer doesn't even need to feel like they had a human interaction. They just want the information. So having a better idea of where they expect human touch points and where they don't helped me build out AI as well. So that's the first thing I did was just audit our customer base and understanding what they need, what they don't need. And so obviously that takes a little bit longer. But the actual implementation, when I got into those couple weeks of getting it going, I was looking at great. What are the main things I need to train it for? Obviously, it needs to know how to respond really well to return exchange. Obviously, track my order. Does it have access to all the information it needs so on and so forth. So I just wrote down what are the main subjects I want it to be able to handle. And then I am very passionate about tone of voice. I like create that for the team I have. I create that for AI. If it doesn't sound like Rhoback, it's not worth it. I would rather completely remove it. So I did a full case study and I kind of treat it like breaking down an actor. I used to sing and perform for a living. But like, how would I break down the character of Rhoback? How would I break down how does Rhoback speak? What age are they? What makes the most sense? And I did basically a full character study so that when I built the tone of voice, because we have a custom tone of voice built into our Gorgias AI. You guys have the great templates too, but again, I'm so nitpicky. I needed to go in and break it down even deeper to where when it's actually responding, it sounds like Rhoback. And so I spent time doing that. And then another part of it was just going into what guidances work and what guidances don't work. Where do I need it to hand over? And that takes a little bit longer. I want to say we implemented it and had to just kind of tweak. Like, I'm a big believer in just because you did all the work at the beginning doesn't mean you shouldn't continue checking on it. Like, it was a couple months of consistently watching it and having people to test it out and make sure it's still working okay. Or maybe this guidance isn't working the way I want. I need to tweak it a little bit more. I use AI to help build AI guidances. That helps a ton. And then I always like to say, too, you need to treat it like you're training a 3-year-old. So the AI does not have a sense of good and bad or like what's morally the right thing here or morally the wrong thing here. It's just going to spit out whatever you train it. And so going in and being like, great, I need to break this down like a 3-year-old that literally doesn't know any different, and have it so detailed to where there's no room for error. So depending on where you're at, some companies already have like their culture training, their tone of voice figured out. Like, that can take longer or shorter amounts of time. I think in my case, I was spending so much time in those realms from August leading up into BFCM that it was easy to implement into the AI training itself.
Amazing. I love those analogies. That's super helpful to like visualize the process of, building up the case study and treating it like a 3-year-old. That's really memorable. So thanks for that. Awesome. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk a little bit more about how that implementation process actually led to some alignments with other teams within Rhoback. So I know you mentioned that it helped you build better ties with the e-commerce teams and with the product teams. So I'd love to get into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But before we do, we have another poll for the audience here. So we're curious what team alignment challenge resonates most with you. So is it knowledge gaps between different departments? Do you find inconsistent processes with your documentation? Is there maybe a lack of shared goals across different teams? Are there communication breakdowns or all of the above? So feel free to head over to the poll tab and vote, and we'll see kind of what is top of mind for people. Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so moving along. Perfect. So Samantha, I'm curious, can you share some examples of how implementing the AI agent surfaced some knowledge gaps or inconsistencies between different departments?
Super easy answer. Like I said earlier, the data has to be clean. So the AI is going to tell you if anything isn't clean. Immediately, you're going to know, oh my gosh, this PDP is off. Whatever we have written here is off. This is contradicting with what we have written here. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it'll just tell you because it's going to spit out whatever information it does have. So a big thing we were noticing is just like the e-commerce team, like the site itself, is all the information there accurate? The AI has this great ability to actually do a whole sweep of the website to get all this information, but I still go through there and I go through whatever information it pulled, and I will like check and uncheck things that I'm like, this is no longer accurate, right? And so it brings up things that we need to audit and look at. And we've got a ton of products. You should see how many polos we have. We have so many polos, and that's beautiful and amazing, but that's so many new products going to the website all the time. And so making sure everything actually has consistent information, that there's like, for product team alone, it's like, hey, is this legitimately accurate? The AI is saying this, which means it's being listed somewhere, that this is what we're writing down. Where do we need to update this? And so it led to, me having more meetings with the product team to make sure whatever we have listed on the PDPs is accurate and helpful and easy to understand. And then again, chatting with e-commerce to make sure whatever we are listing on different pages on the sign, on actually aligns with the help center, what the customer service team understands. And then again, having to go through and edit and audit and update. And that's just a consistent cycle.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a mirror. It shows you exactly what you put into it. So that's great to hear. Perfect. And then you've kind of touched on it a little bit, but how did AI help connect, CX, e-commerce, and product teams around shared goals?
I think it opened the conversations. So I don't know if the conversations were happening as much before, but now we're like, hey, we're noticing this stuff is being listed. Let's actually start meeting up. Let's start chatting about what we can do to bring all this together, because it's so important for all these teams to work together, and everyone has their main priorities and the things they're trying to get through. But ultimately our main goal, right, is for the customer. We want the customer to be happy. We want to make sure their site experience is easy. We want to make sure, like, from the moment they get that ad to the moment they purchase to the moment they receive, it's fluid. And so basically it just opened up opportunity for us to see the areas that we needed to improve upon. I don't know if we had as much access before to understand where we actually need to make these updates. And again, we're focusing on so many things that things are naturally going to fall through the cracks. And so I think that helped a ton for us to just come together and be like, great, this is where we recognize we need to come together, align. Let's go ahead and change our goals, change our annual goals, make sure we're working together to keep this consistent and create those habits and those patterns going into the next coming years of knowing this is what we're going to do every single time to make sure everything is aligned.
I love that. Amazing. Awesome. And then one other question, what did communication and implementation look like across teams? So I believe that AI started with the CX team. So how did you kind of roll that out to other teams in the org?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, it's been in the CS team mainly, and that's kind of where it jumped in. And then we're just pulling that information and the data into other teams. So we don't have other teams per se using the AI, but they're using the information pulled from the AI to go into what they're doing. So I'm a very data driven person. And so, you can pull a lot of reports based on what the AI is doing, and lots of Excel sheets, lots of tags, lots of, all the different resources we have to kind of see how to implement it for every team. But I think, again, to answer this question, I think it mainly opened up the conversation that we weren't having before, which I think is huge.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious, like, what does that look like? Are you meeting with these teams regularly? Is it like maybe you have an ASIN channel? Can you walk us through like what that looks like on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, totally. So we do have weekly team meetings with ecom, and then we have like either biweekly or monthly with product team to check in on things. And it's just, yeah, implementing those meetings that we didn't have before, which was,
Nice. Yeah, great to hear.
yeah.
Amazing. Perfect. So the last section we're going to kind of talk about today is building trust and confidence with AI. It's still relatively new technology. There's still some hesitation, both internally and with customers. So super, super excited to dive into how you kind of overcame this challenge and obstacle. Before we do that, one last audience poll for everybody. So This one's all about what's your biggest concern about rolling out AI? So if you haven't yet or you're in the early stages, what are you most concerned about? So like we mentioned, getting buy-in from leadership or other teams within the org, maintaining response quality and accuracy, training staff and team to use it effectively, balancing automation with the human touch, or cost or ROI concerns. So take a few seconds, give us your answer, or drop some comments in the chat. Yeah, we'll see what everyone's thinking about. Awesome.
Quality and accuracy. I totally get it, y'all.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure.
Yeah.
And that's super key with that tone of voice you're talking about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get into it. So really high level, but how did you build internal trust and confidence with the AI agent before you were rolling it out, and then maybe in those early days?
Yeah. So I think ultimately having the experience I had in AI helped. I was able to be like, hey, these are the things we're going to be able to automate. I'm a big advocate for creative forecasting, or even just, I like to say, be the lawyer of your department or the lawyer for whatever you're fighting for. Give an argument, show how it's going to save things, show how it's going to improve CSAT, improve response times, and then, help the workload for the team, because that'll restructure how the team moves forward. So that was a big thing internally. They wanted to see is like, just how is it going to work? Is it going to be something that we can prove will be useful to the company as a whole, useful to the department, or is it going to be detrimental? And building confidence in the AI agent, I think, is just showing everything you're planning on doing to make it accurate, to make it work. It's like showing that you're going to spend the time and showing all this information and aligning. When I'm chatting about tone of voice, I want to make sure the people who started the company align with that and that they see that. And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, that sounds like us. We're down for you to do that. So a lot of it is just like, here's access to everything I'm doing. You don't have to read through all of it, but I want you to have full access so that you feel confident at the way that I'm taking the time to be as detailed as possible, make sure that it's valuable for us and for our team. And I also did the same for the customer service agents, that, a lot of agents are nervous that it's going to take away work. That's the biggest thing, is everyone's like, oh, my job's going to go away. I'm like, no, let me show how it's going to be a support for you. Let me show how it's actually going to get the tickets you need to look at to you quicker, but in a way that's more easily digestible. If someone's reporting a damage, instead of my team having to send their first macro being like, great, can you send us photos of the damage you're talking about? The AI's already done that part of the process for them. By the time they see it, all they get to do is action it. It's I like to say, it's a customer assistant. It's your own personal assistant to help with everything. So getting the team on board, being like, great, this isn't here to replace you. This is here to support you. And I want you to use it as a support. How can you use it in your daily lives as well to help encourage what you're already doing and make you even more successful?
Love that. Yeah, that's something we hear a lot, is AI is not taking away work. It's like taking away the repetitive work so that agents get to focus on the more meaningful work. So it's great to hear that that's happening for your team.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so kind of like you were mentioning with actually trying the AI agent and testing it, were there any aha moments that turned, any skepticism into excitement?
I think really when we saw that sometimes it's nicer than the humans. Like, I would have it go in, like some of the responses I'd see it go into, it's like someone's reaching out and saying that this shirt means the world to them because it looks like their favorite dog that passed away, and they just want to thank us so much for creating this shirt. And the AI's in there like, oh, we love that you shared that. That's the kindest thing. We just love that you're so, and I'm over here like, how did you dive into that? So like, when you do that setup well, you'll see that the AI is actually pulling that. And it's great to see that the AI is always learning. So it's learning from your agents, it's learning from the tickets, it's learning from all the information you have. So the longer you get it, the more successful it is. And so it was just that for me was like the game changer when I saw, oh my gosh, it's not just answering the question. It's being very kind. It's being very like intelligent with how it's responding. It knows how to match the tone of the customer, which I think is something that we naturally have to train our teams how to do anyways. And it's able to go in there and be like, no, I'm going to match the tone I'm receiving, make sure it still aligns with everything I'm trained in. I will pass it on when I need to pass it on. I know exactly what to look for. So when you do take the time and get it to that point, it is really exciting to see how it will actually work and respond.
Absolutely. Yeah. AI has endless empathy and patience, that's for sure. Awesome. Okay. And then just on the customer side, so we've talked a lot about like internal stakeholders in the team, but for your end user, your end shoppers, how do you balance automation with the AI agent with maintaining a human touch with your CX team?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is building trust. The customer, a big thing I'm noticing, depending on the demographic of your customer, is whether or not that customer is going to be happy with AI or pissed off that you're using an AI. I've seen negative CSAT where the AI actually responded exactly like I trained my team to respond because they saw the signature saying AI assistant. They were just like, I don't use AI. And there's only so much you can do in those. But for me, it's like, how can I build that trust? So I actually set our AI agent to be like, hey, I'm the first person you're going to talk to. I'm the customer service assistant. If I can help you, I'm going to. If I can't, I'm going to pass you on to the right person that can help you immediately. And so building that opportunity of trust to where the customer doesn't feel like it's going to be trapped in AI, which I think we've all experienced. I think like if you're calling a shipping carrier and you're like in automated phones forever, and you're pressing whatever number to get a person, it's like, can you make it easy for me to get to a person? So introducing the conversation, being like, I'm here. If you need a person, I'll pass you on. So that they know they have access to that, I think is really key. And then again, just making sure the information it's sharing is accurate. The unfortunate thing with the AI is if that information is inaccurate, then the customer does get pissed and they come back to us and they're like, hey, your AI though said this. Why did your AI say this and you're saying that? So just always making sure that we build that trust and make it easy access for the customer to leave if they want to. And the customer service team knows how to jump in and how to interact and be like, hey, this is what the AI said. This is what the case is. So sorry if there was any inconvenience. But it's creating that balance and access to either. I'm very atypical millennial in that I would prefer self-service. I want to do it myself. I don't really need to interact with anyone. I am totally good. But a lot of people want someone else to do it for them and they want that step. So if you can balance the two worlds, that is key to making sure it's going to be successful. And again, if you're noticing it just consistently is failing at certain areas, turn it off. I'm like, I'll be the first to be like, I'm turning off this or I'm just making this a handover topic, whatever. I'm going to spend more time on it. Like, try if you can, if you have the bandwidth, take the time with it. It's very worth it. Once it's set up accurately, it's really worth it, what it can do.
Yeah, yeah. I love that piece you mentioned too about just turning it off because I think that's a big concern is this thing's going to be on and take over our website, but you have total control. So that's a great approach.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so that's all of the questions I have for you. So now I'm going to open it up and see if anybody else has any questions for Samantha. Let's see. Awesome. So, okay, so from Todd, my concern is more about quality and accuracy of the systems. We're on Shopify, NetSuite is our ERP, connectors have occasional delays. So does Rhoback have any issues with system integrations and the use of AI agents?
Yeah, so I know NetSuite super well, and I know how NetSuite is communicating with Shopify, and I get all those system updates. So, the AI for Gorgias is connecting really well with Shopify, and, I don't know how AI with NetSuite is going so far. That'll be something that other people can share at some point. But I know for us, a lot of it is just we are setting things up and we're doing a lot of testing to see how we want it to implement with NetSuite. So I'm not, you know, we're not doing a ton of cancellations currently. It's something we're working towards having the AI be able to do. But it is something to where I've just set up the AI to where if it's those high priority scenarios that it's going to interact with NetSuite or Shopify, it's basically flagging it to a point where it's the first thing my team sees. So it's going directly to the team and they're getting to it ASAP. But if you ever want to chat on the side about that too, let me know, because we've been playing with that a ton and we have found some solutions, but it really depends on the specific scenario you're looking at.
Totally. Awesome. So we have time, I think, for one more question. So Amanda asked about hallucinations. So is there any suggestions that you have to get ahead of these before?
In all honesty, I haven't dealt with a ton of hallucinations. I did see a couple of scenarios with that, but again, they were caught really quickly and I was able to get them fixed. But really, it's actually been quite accurate to what I've trained it on. So again, if you have those guidances, the help center stuff is huge. Any training material you throw into that, I haven't been seeing issues with hallucinations. But again, I would be curious for your particular scenario. Like some of these questions, I'm like, there's probably a situation where I get where you're talking about, but I noticed I have not been experiencing hallucinations. Another place I would check is make sure when it's doing the website sweep, go through what it's pulled from the website. Anytime I experienced what looked like a hallucination, it's actually from whatever, like an old update from the site way back when that you just need to make sure is removed.
Amazing. Thank you. So that is time for today. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Samantha, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of your expertise. I found this really interesting. I hope everyone else did as well. So yeah, thanks so much for joining, everyone. And we do have another episode coming up in December. So stay tuned. We'll be sending more details about that one. And we hope to see you there.
Thank you, guys. And if anyone had extra questions I couldn't get to, hit me up on LinkedIn and I can for sure help you out there.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll send Samantha's LinkedIn info in the follow-up. So perfect. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye.